of him, right?
Okay.
Yep. And then likewise, he's going for the really young, vulnerable, easy, docile personality with a lot of life to go still. That's equal. Yeah.
What do you mean by vulnerable?
When you're young, when you're a teenager, when you're in your early 20s, this is both for men and women, you're a sponge. And that's a vulnerable place to be, where you're not operating from an educated, experienced position. They're vulnerable in terms of they're easily swayed, they're easily suggestible. So that's what I mean by vulnerable. They're a sponge.
So do you think
they definitely shouldn't be joining the military at that age.
I joined at 17, but that's
I know, but you definitely shouldn't have, because you're a sponge and you're easily suggestible,
Andrew,
and you don't have any autonomy. And you're just kind of a fool, right?
No, that's completely different. You're someone going in the military.
Why is it completely different?
Oh, I'll tell you. So when you go into the military, like I did at 17, you're going into a safe. When I mean safe, I mean it's structured. There's laws and rules and regulations in place.
Because there's not laws and rules and regulations in place for relationships and for marriage, even though there is, right? You can't just randomly essay women, right? Even if you're in a relationship, there's still laws in place, even if you're not in the military, right?
I don't know why you're getting so heated, Andrew.
Well, I want an answer to the question.
There's the tone policing already.
I want
Just
to know
engage.
I want to know why you think it's okay to be, when you say sponge, right? Oh, you're just a sponge. They have so much life left to live, girl.
I guess I'm just what is your point?
Hang on, let me finish, and then I'll turn it over to you. Okay, hang on, let me finish. You say, they're a sponge. They're just absorbed. They're easily influenced, right, and totally suggestible. These are your words.
Correct.
But of course, they should be joining the military because they're easily suggestible. They're like sponges. They could be easily influenced into doing things they ordinarily wouldn't do. The SA rate for women in the military is sky high. Seems like, it's a little bit of a contradiction there, right?
No, I disagree, because they're two completely separate topics. The question was, do I think that that massive of an age gap is an issue? And my answer, in my opinion, is yes. I think it's an issue. I think 10 years is appropriate as a max. But once you start getting into the 20s, et cetera, I think it's completely disproportionate. They're different areas of their lives, and that's my opinion.
Like your commanding officer, for instance, who's probably going to be much older than you are, right?
That's so different, Andrew. One is a teacher.
Why is it different? You're suggestible, which means you can't make good decisions because you're a sponge. You're always absorbing the things that are around you. This is your logic, the entailment of your logic.
We can give each other the space to talk, but you cut me off first.
I just let you go.
You cut me off first.
Let you go.
You cut me off first.
You were done
I was in
talking.
the middle of giving my answer, and you cut me off first.
Hey, I'm done talking, and now you can't talk.
Andrew, we've done this before together. I will, but once I finish my point.
Stop talking. Let me finish.
Andrew, I'm not going to take that from you or anybody.
I'm not going to take it. I'll get up and leave right now, right this second.
I'm not going to do this with you, Andrew.
Are you going to have a discourse like adults, or what? You can't finish talking, and then when I start talking,
I just have to come in and pick one of you to finish your things. Andrew gets to finish. Go ahead, Andrew.
Okay, so anyway, your line of logic would still apply to other situations. If women are easily suggestible, they're just young sponges, they're just absorbing the things around them, you say these are two different situations, as though I'm talking about them like they're the same situation. The logical entailment, though, would apply in both. That's the point.
Are you done?
Yeah.
Okay. So first of all, I didn't specify women. I said young people, both men and women, when they're in their early 20s, are very suggestible, impressionable. They're sponges. That's what I said. So I wasn't specifically talking about women. We were not talking about the military. And the difference that I was trying to articulate was that if there's a 20-year age gap between myself, as an example, and a staff sergeant that's in charge of my platoon, his job is to train me, is to educate me, is to lead me, is to build me into being a soldier. That is not the dynamic of the particular male that we're talking about. Tobey Maguire's job is not to teach a 20-year-old how to be an adult and a woman and to know her rights and to know her boundaries and her limits and what she likes and doesn't like. That's not Toby's job.
That's not a staff sergeant's job either, to teach you how to be a woman.
They're two completely different topics.
That's your logic. It's your logical application. Staff sergeant's job not to teach you how to be a woman either. Okay, when you're talking about a power imbalance, if you're saying that people are so young and impressionable they can't make the decision of who they date based on an age gap, which is absurd. This logic should still apply to the situations that they can engage in, which is contractual. For instance, signing a 4-year contract for your life, right, that you then hand over to the government. If you're incapable of determining who you can or can't date, why in the world would I think that you could determine whether or not you signed your life over to the U.S. government?
So hold on, again, two completely different topics. I did not say a staff sergeant was going to teach me how to be a woman. A staff sergeant would be teaching me how to be a soldier, just to clarify.
That's right.
And in terms of the topic of, them joining the military, et cetera, again, we're not talking about that. We're talking about whether I personally, the question was whether I personally find issue with a 20-year plus age gap. I personally find an issue with it. I don't think it should be illegal. Should the woman be able to decide to do that, or a man could be reversed? Absolutely, it's their choice, it's their business. I'm just saying the question was, do I have an issue with it? And I'm saying I have an issue with it.
So then here's what I'm doing. Right, and I'm going to use my best HR tone. What I'm doing is I'm taking your applied logic that you apply in this situation and also equally applying it to other situations to see if it's consistent. It's called an analogy, right? So in this analogy, if you have a personal problem with age gap relationships based on the fact that there's power dynamics and that the woman can be super suggestible to this 49-year-old who's super powerful and these all-powerful Za, okay, then this would still apply to the fact that if she made other contracts or other, life choices, why is it that she's capable of those? You have no problem, but you have a problem in the instance of her picking her partner.
Again, these are two completely different scenarios with two.
You can keep saying that like we don't know that.
Listen, Andrew, we just disagree. So I think we should move on because we definitely disagree on this.
That's the argument?
I'm not going to keep arguing with you. I'm not going to. So we disagree. That's my opinion. I don't need you to agree with it. I don't need you to find logic in it. That's just my opinion. So I'm ready to move on.
Yeah, but I'm not really ready to move on. I'd really like you to answer to this because I don't understand the logic.
But you're going to be all by yourself.
Good for you.
Yeah, you tell that mean guy who wants logical consistency.
No, I love you, Andrew.
I don't think he's mean. I just think it's two completely different scenarios. It's not even the same thing.
Yes, are apples the same as oranges?
I'm moving on, Andrew.
Are apples the same as oranges? Can you answer any basic questions? Is up the opposite of down? No, just nothing. We're just not going to answer any questions at all. What we'll do is we'll just take positions and never defend them. I'm not going to do that.
I'm not here to debate you, Andrew. We've been through this before.
What are you here to do?
I'm here for the dating conversation. I'm not here for you.
This is a conversation about dating. We're talking about specifically a person who's dating someone who's far older, and I'm testing the logical consistency of your position.
But I don't need you to decide whether my logic about whether I think a 20-year age gap is appropriate or not. I don't need your approval on that.
I didn't say you needed my approval.
So then
we're having a conversation.
I don't care if you approve or not. When you're just like going to disrespect. Like I don't need that.
How's that disrespectful?
Andrew, I'm not going to do this with you this time.
Are you going to use the HR thing? Is it the wrong tone? Is it the HR tone? Are you going to give me the HR tone speech? Don't do the HR tone speech.
No, I'm not entertaining this, Andrew. I'm not today.
Not today.
Not today.
Okay. I mean, if you don't want to engage, you don't have to engage.
Yeah,
but just,
I'm in my healed girl era, Andrew.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to argue with you today. We're going to be friends again after this.
I don't take any of it personally. I don't understand why you take a position and then won't defend it.
Because I'm going to tell you why, if you genuinely care to know. Because we're talking about my opinion on whether a 20-year age gap is appropriate or not. I said no, right? I don't think it's appropriate. And you tried to bring in logic about someone joining the military, which is a completely different, like not even in the same universe, topic-wise.
Okay, so do you realize that if you bring up a hypothetical, for instance, that it's not going to map on to reality or the situation exactly, but you can still test the logic of a person to see if they're consistent. Hang on. I just let you finish.
Go ahead.
So all I'm trying to do is this. I get that you have a problem with an age gap, right? What I'm trying to determine is why. And if you have that problem, in this instance, I would assume that in an instance which was similar, where these same traits are applied, you'd have the same problem. Makes sense to me.
So again, I'll just recap it one more time for you why it's totally different, why the logic cannot be applied to the same scenario.
Okay.
Because I'm talking about a young girl or boy, it doesn't matter what gender, going into a scenario where they don't even know they're left from right, they're up from down. They're brand new into being out of high school. They're just entering the world, etc. For a 49-year-old man or woman to come and pluck one of those two people up, you would. My first question is, why do you have an interest in someone that young? Like where is that coming from?
Because
right?
they want to bang them. They think they're hot.
And
what do you mean?
And if it's consensual, have fun, right? But I'm just saying, I personally find that disturbing. I don't think that's appropriate. Now, you want to
why? What's inappropriate about it?
Why is it disturbing?
Because I think the 49-year-old, like if you guys are just trying to hook up, go for it, have fun, whatever. But I think once you start like in this scenario, because the question, going back to what the actual question was, which is, do I think Tobey Maguire and this 21-year-old girl, do I have, like, what's my opinion on that? I'm telling you, I have an opinion of that that isn't agreeing with that dynamic, because that person is now in the limelight. They're surrounded by an environment where there's a lot of pressure. There's all of these different scenarios that they're going to be faced with, and they're so young. They don't even understand what that means. Now they're going to be painted as, dating someone who could be their father, in the news. Like, they don't have, I could just keep going. Like, I have a problem with it.
So then the same logic would apply the other way.
No, it's completely different.
Yeah, hang on. Is it my turn?
Okay,
I
go
could have
ahead.
sworn it was.
I think we need a safe word, Andrew.
So I could swear that the logic would apply the exact same here. They're young and impressionable. They don't know, as you say, their left from their right. They're just plucked up. They're offered a bunch of incentives to do X thing, right? Mm-hmm. All of these things are true. Why is it that this woman, in this case, not even a hypothetical woman, why is it that they're incapable of judging whether or not they can date somebody with a significant age gap, but somehow are capable of deciding whether or not, hang on, let me finish. But somehow they're capable of deciding whether or not they could sign a contract for 4 years of their life, entering into a situation they also have zero experience in.
Completely different. First of all, I did not say, you're adding in things I didn't say. So I did not say they're incapable of deciding whether they want to be in the relationship. I already said, actually, very clearly, more power to them. The question was if I have an opinion on it, and I do. I think it's bad, and
yeah,
I don't like it.
But you have an opinion which is informed by a worldview.
I'm speaking from experience.
A worldview.
Okay, you got to let me finish now. Remember, we're doing this whole
sharing
thing. We're doing this whole sharing thing.
I'm just clarifying, so that you know you're speaking from a worldview, and I'm trying to investigate the worldview.
Sure. So I'm speaking from experience, because I was once a young 20-year-old girl, 15 years ago, that was in a situation.
Hey, you guys can't be doing sidebar conversations when somebody else is talking. Go ahead.
That was in a situation with someone significantly older than me, and it was not a good situation for multiple reasons. There is a power dynamic difference. I was uneducated, about the person. I didn't even know what to ask. I didn't know what screening questions to ask. It was an inappropriate, horrible situation, and it was a very toxic relationship. And now, really quickly, to address why I think it's so important that we separate these topics, is the military is an educational system. It is a career. It is guided by instruction and education and purpose and mission and all of these things. It has nothing to do with that person on the romantic level. There's a difference between the military putting you in boots and someone trying to fuck you. There's a big difference.
Because the last time I checked, the power imbalance which exists inside of the military is such that the SA rates for women are sky high due to this power imbalance, usually from male officers who have a significant age gap. Far more likely to be SA'd in that than you are in an age gap relationship.
I don't agree with that.
Since you're drawing, how can you disagree?
One, because I'm a woman in the military.
Would you like the stats?
Well, first of all, I want to know where you got the stats, because a lot of people throw out stats and they're not even verified stats. Second, I've been in the military. Second, I've been through an SA case, et cetera. So I know a lot about SA in the military, and I promise you it's a very small number. It's a very small number of the military. And now, in terms of like,
hang on.
No, I'm not done. And in terms of like, if we're comparing, I'm not done. If we're comparing rates of people who get SA'd outside of the military, it's a much higher number. So I want to be really careful that we're not conflating the rates of SA between the military and the civilian community, because they're not even close.
I was going to clarify it, and I'll clarify it right now. We're comparing the rates of SA in an age gap relationship versus the rates of SA if you're inside of the U.S. military as a female. We're comparing those two. Those are analogous, right? So now we have Yes, because they apply to your power imbalance. Your whole argument is about a power imbalance.
First of all, I don't have an argument.
So if you're a woman who can sign on to a power imbalance in the military, and you're actually more likely to be SA'd going into the military than you are to be in an age gap relationship, which is true, then I don't understand the argument of the power imbalance. That's what I don't get.
So, okay, first of all, I don't have an argument. This was just my opinion, just to be clear.
Okay.
I'm going to go back to that. The question was, do I agree or disagree with it? I don't agree with it. I don't need to prove my point to you, and I would really love to move on.
Well, I have a couple questions. So I guess perhaps what Andrew's trying to get at. So your issue with age gap relationship is the potential for harm. Is that one of the issues? Right? There's a potential for harm to the woman.
To me, like, I think there's a lot of successful relationships with that big of an age gap. So it's not that. It's not. I'm not like looking out.
Well, then why else would you? I mean, if there's no potential for harm.
Ooh, you okay? Yeah, I'm good. Thank you.
Why else, I guess, object to it if there's no potential for harm? Your grievance with it seems to be the potential for harm to the woman.
No, I just think that I'm more focused on the older person's reasoning for why they're seeking someone so significantly much younger.
So make an argument for why a man who's 40 ought to date a 30-year-old compared to a 20-year-old. Like, what's in it for him?
They're much closer in age. Like, so 10 years is appropriate to me. I would say that's like the max.
No. Make a compelling argument in terms of the benefits then to the man. If your issue isn't so much the harm to the woman, make an argument as to why men ought to date a 35-year-old over a 25-year-old.
Okay. So one, the woman, like if the end goal is that they're looking for successful long-term marriage, relationship, family, kids, whatever, you would prefer to date a 35-year-old over a 25-year-old because the 35-year-old has a lot more life experience. They're
more bodies.
That's not what I mean at all.
But when you say more life experience, more trauma, more baggage,
that's not what I mean at all.
More sexual partners.
No. Now you're adding in things I didn't say, Brian.
Life experience.
No, that's
you mean
not what I said.
You mean
that's not what I said.
Right, but I mean.
No, you're adding in things I did not say.
Right, but so okay, go ahead, continue with your point.
Yeah. So I'm talking about life experience, as in contrast, is in what they want and what they don't want, and I'm talking about jobs, career, where they want to live,
career,
who they want to hang out with, who they want to associate with, their ideology, their religion, whether they're spiritual or not. Like there's a lot of contrasting moments, and which, by the way, I'm not at all talking about anything to do with relationships. I'm specifically talking about maturity in life. Maybe they've gone to college. Like, there's a lot of different things that will help shape the woman and the person that they're going to become.
Okay, so there's a couple things here. So you mentioned life experience. Do you think a woman's life experience is high on the totem pole in terms of what men find attractive or care about?
To be honest, high quality men would care about that.
About your life experience?
Yeah, high quality men would care about that.
So does that include both positive life experiences and negative life experiences?
For some people, I think conversations that I've had with extremely high quality men, I think they would care if you've had some contrast in your life so you can learn and grow and.
And how did you come to the conclusion that high quality men care about females' life experiences? Like how did you come to that conclusion? They told you?
I've had a lot of extremely intelligent conversations with a lot of extremely intelligent men, very high-level men, and they absolutely, if they're appropriate and they have good intent to be married, to have a wife, to have a family, to have children, etc., those are the things they care about.
A woman's life experiences is high on the totem pole.
I can tell, based on your line of questioning, that you're trying to, make a point, so just make the point.
No, but I mean, again, I'm asking you, do you think that a woman's life experiences are high on the totem pole in terms of what men find attractive or what they value in a partner?
So besides physical attraction, which I think is the baseline, I think physical attraction is absolutely the baseline, right?
Okay, is a 25-year-old woman more physically attractive at 25 or at 35?
Sometimes 25, sometimes not. If they've had some work done, they're probably a little bit better.
Do you think you're 34, correct?
I'm 34.
Do you think you're more physically attractive now at 34 than you were at 24?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Really?
We had this conversation before. You haven't seen me at 24. You don't know what I look like at 24.
Well, I just know, sort of about aging.
Sure, but
the impact it has on your skin.
Yeah, well, I mean, your question was not about me, my physical body, but go ahead.
Just one quick point of clarification. I was kind of going through. I always take notes when people are speaking, right? Because I have a bad memory. But you did say that you didn't have any problem if they hooked up. You only had a problem
Yeah.
if they were in a long-term relationship.
Yeah,
that was really weird. I don't understand that either.
Yes,
Sure.
I was gonna bring that up.
I'm happy to walk through this. And again, guys, this is just my personal opinion. I find it a little icky when there's an older man dating a super young woman. It seems a little weird
Does
to
it give
me.
you the? It gives you the ick.
It does, yes. It gives me the ick.
It says give you that ick.
It gives me the ick, Andrew.
gives you the ick,
It
okay.
does. It gives me the ick. This is just my personal opinion. Like I said,
So it's fine if they have casual sex and never talk again.
Listen, I
That's
said
not the
my
ick.
personal opinion. This is just my personal opinion. If they're just hooking up, that's their right as consenting adults. Where I get concerned is when the older man is trying to like look at this person as like their wife, and this poor girl who's like 21 years old has not even experienced any life in any way, shape, or form. That's just not going to work out well. That's just my opinion.
Wait, hold on. So just to be clear,
Guys, I really
hold
want
on,
to
hold
move
on.
on.
Okay, you said the thing, so I got to respond.
Sure.
So okay, just to be clear, less predatory, less bad if the guy fucks her and never talks to her again versus
I didn't say that.
You said if they're just hooking up and that's it.
I didn't.
But when the guy wants something a bit more serious, that's where you have a bit more of an issue.
I think that them trying to date long term and like her become a wife at 21 years old to somebody who is double or triple her age is
Good
creepy.
catch, unconventional man.
I
He
think
was
it's
the one
creepy.
who caught that. He said,
No,
"Hey,
I heard it.
Did you?
Wait, what?
Yeah. Did you know? Did you notice that?" And I was like, "Man, that's a great catch."
So,
I
okay,
couldn't believe it.
you're fine with
How
short
is
term.
Guys,
How
this is
is
my
it that
personal
you could
opinion. I
possibly
don't need to
reconcile
convince
this
you guys.
position?
I don't need to convince you guys. This is just my personal opinion. I think it's icky. I don't even. I'm not even mad at her. I'm just like, dude, what are you doing? Like, go in your own age range. Like, get a little closer. Like, what are you doing? It gives me the ick.
Okay, but so going back to the question at hand, so you said that you're kind of fine with it if it's just casual, with the age gap. So if it's short term,
It's
you're
their
fine.
business. They're consenting adults. I just find it creepy when now you're like at a restaurant and you look next to you and this guy's gray haired and like could be her grandfather and she looks like she just got out of high school. That's weird. I
Okay,
find it really inappropriate.
But so just, I'll ask the question again.
Yeah.
You're okay if they hook up 1, 2, or 3 times, and then that's the extent of it, but you're not okay if the man is
I'm
desirous
not
of a
okay
long
with
term.
that at all on a personal level, but
that's what
I'm
you-
saying it's their business. I'm saying it's their business. I don't need you to
So
understand this.
isn't
I
it
don't
also
need-
their business
I'm not
if
trying
it's
to
a long
convince
term?
you. I'm not trying to convince you.
That's cool.
I'm just ready to.
But I'm asking for clarification.
Sure.
Yeah, okay. So you're fine with it or more fine with it if it's short term, but if the guy is desirous of long term, that's your
I'm
you
saying
have
it's
more
none
of
of
an
my
issue.
business, but you know, like if they're having
So wouldn't
sex,
it be
they're
none of your
consenting.
business? Wouldn't that be none of your business if it's a long term?
You asked me my opinion on seeing the news of Tobey Maguire dating someone double his age. I said I don't like it.
Right, but you made a statement. I'll repeat myself one more time.
Sure.
You made a statement where you said you don't really care or you don't mind if it's just kind of casual, they're just hooking up. Do you recall saying that?
I do,
Okay.
and I did.
So then that would seem to imply that you do have an issue then if it's more long term, if the older man's desirous of having a long term relationship
Yeah.
with her. Whereas if he's just like, sees her at the club, wants to
Yeah.
fuck, then that's that's cool.
And she's a consenting adult, etc. But where it gets weird for me is like, and this is for all young men and women, they're gonna go through a few bodies as they're exploring. A lot of people in general, right? Not everyone. Some people don't, but like I think that's
More
normal.
baggage.
That's normal. That's normal. It happens for guys
More
and
baggage.
girls.
So then Brian's
Sure.
right. It's more life experience means more body count.
But if you're asking me specifically in that scenario, but I'm just saying I don't think that guy should be like getting married to someone who's triple younger
what if they
than
did
him.
for 5 years and now she's 20, now she's 25?
Yeah,
Too young for Leo.
I'm just done, Brian. I'm done with this topic.
Too old.
You
Sorry,
asked me my
too
opinion.
old.
I don't like it.
My
I don't
bad.
need you. I don't need you.
Yeah, but you said another thing, and now I'm trying to
Okay.
get to the bottom
Brian,
of the thing that you
I
said.
literally, you asked me my opinion. I
Yes,
gave you
but I'm
my
asking-
opinion. I don't
Yeah,
like
you
it.
gave it.
Well,
I
but
don't
now
need
I'm
you
asking
to,
for clarification.
But I don't need you to prove me right or wrong.
I'm
That's
not
just
trying
my
to prove
opinion.
you right or wrong. I'm asking. You can't even answer the question.
Well,
I'm answering
I
the
understand.
question.
I understand you're trying to give your opinion. You keep saying I'm giving my opinion, but opinions are based on some sort of logical reasoning. Now, all Brian and Andrew are trying to do is try to
I know
figure
exactly
out
what they're
is
trying
that
to do. They're
what is that
looking for
logical
engagement.
reasoning behind it. Because if there is no logical reasoning behind it, maybe
Well,
your
well,
opinion
yeah, I'm
should
going to engage in
change.
your opinion. Yeah, that's true. I'm going to engage in your opinion. That's correct. Yes,
Andrew,
you're right.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
You don't like it when I
don't
engage with
it.
your opinion?
No, I'm talking about the dynamic. I just don't like it.
Maybe okay, that's
You
fair.
need-
Guys,
No, maybe the
move
age gap
on.
thing.
So-
Move on.
Well,
If
hold
it's
on,
your-
no,
if
no,
you-
wait, hold on. Just to be clear, if I want to talk about this for the next 5 hours, we're going
I-
to talk about it for the
yeah.
next 5 hours.
It
can
is
talk about it. I
Brian's
don't have
show.
to.
Now, I'm not inclined to talk about it for the
Yeah.
next 5 hours, but if you wanted to move on, instead of kind of attempting to obfuscate and derail, you could just
There was no derailing or obfuscating. I'm just saying I'm done
you could
talking
just like
about
answer
it.
the question.
But I did.
No, you just kind of say, I already answered the question, now move on.
Okay,
the
Brian,
question
you've
was,
been in a bad mood
the
since
question,
everybody
cool,
showed up.
Yes, I have been in a bad mood.
Yep, and you're
Deal
taking
with
it out on me right
I'm
now.
not taking it out on you.
You
I'm
are.
I would engage with you just like this, regardless. If I had the most smooth pre-show, I would have engaged with you just like this, regardless. So it has
No,
nothing
you'd
to
be
do
a
with
little
the
bit
fact.
nicer.
No, I can attest. Brian would
I
do
would
the
engage
exact
with
same
you.
thing.
This is not
I
my
would
first
engage
time
with
here.
you.
This is my
exactly the
9th
same.
time here.
Yeah.
I'll ask
cool.
one final question and then I will move it on. So just as a point of clarification, can you answer? You said you don't object if it's older man, younger woman, and they're just hooking up.
It's their business.
But you do object, older man, younger woman, serious long-term monogamous relationship.
I would look at that older man and I would wonder what is going on with his mental health that he needs to date someone who is young enough
So
to
he's
be his
mentally,
daughter.
now older men
Sure,
are mentally ill for
sure,
being attracted to
sure.
young adult women?
Yeah, that's
They're
creepy.
It's
creepy.
No, it's a mental illness.
I think so.
You think it's a mental illness for men to be
Maybe.
attracted to like a stacked 21-year-old? Like giant
Just-
fucking
well, just-
titties,
just
big
not-
fucking
well,
ass.
I don't
need you
you
to
think
agree
it's
with
a
me,
mental
guys.
illness?
No, Brian, stop.
I just
It's
don't need to
only
get-
a mental illness if they want to date them. It's fine to fuck them.
No, I'm telling you, I don't care. It's just my opinion. It's my opinion.
All right, hang on. Let's lighten the mood. We'll lighten the mood, all right? Like, here's me throwing you a bone. You want to sing the I Just Got the Ick song? I just got
Please.
the ick. Come on,
It's
you
the
can sing it
ick.
with me.
It is the ick. It's so gross.
It got the ick.
It's so gross. What are you doing
It's
dating
so
your
gross.
grandfather?
I know, it's so gross of that chick to do that.
So
What a
just to be
gross
clear,
chick.
your position is men are mentally ill for desiring young adult women. So like 21-year-old women, it's mental illness.
It's like, yeah, why would you want to date your daughter?
What?
Well, he's
Can
not
I-
dating his daughter.
You-
He's
what-
dating.
what do you
He's
got?
dating.
Not dating.
Can I
Okay,
ask-
okay.
Wait.
There-
I can get. Hold on. Go ahead.
I just want to clarify your position. You originally said mental health, right? You were like, it raises mental health concerns.
Yeah.
I agree with that. And you're using the term mental health illness. Those are two very different things.
What?
You can
No, they're the same.
have
They're the
mental
same,
health
girl.
symptoms.
They're the same.
Okay, so
Like-
articulate what she's trying to say when she says it's a mental health thing. Yo, Payo, thank you for the raid, man. Appreciate it. Thank you, Payo. Okay, so what mental health concern is there
Well,
for
I'm
a man
just-
to be attracted to a 21-year-old adult woman? What is
This
the
isn't
mental
my
health?
point. I was just asking a clarifying question. That's all I was doing.
So you're trying to differentiate between mental
Well,
health and mental illness?
I was wondering if you were using the same terminology for mental health and mental illness. It's okay if you
I'm
are.
pretty
Okay,
sure
so
they're
it was
interchangeable.
it was like first of all, it was an off the cuff comment, so it's not that serious. Number one, but
No, I agree.
number two, I said I would be concerned about their mental health. Why are they dating someone? And hear me out for a second before you jump in. There's a lot of men out there who are dating women, sometimes younger or the same
Yep,
age
not
as their
talking about that.
daughters.
Oh, okay.
And because that's where the daughter comment came in, because you said, well, it's not his daughter, that are about the same age. Why would you want to date someone? Look, first of all, I have a 15-year-old son. I would never, 5 years from now, when he's 20, I would
Hold
never
on.
date a 20-year-old.
Okay, I actually have a rebuttal to this.
Okay.
So you're saying that any characteristic which a child possesses, you must not then date a person who possesses the characteristic of your child.
No,
so
I
for
didn't say
example,
that.
if the skin color of your child is white, how dare you date somebody
didn't say
who's
that.
the same skin color
Brian, I didn't
as
say
your
that.
child? Right, but that's the logical.
I didn't say that.
Yes, I know that's not what you said. But do you understand how I'm trying to like make a comparison here? You're saying that if there's a trait that your child possesses, it then becomes weird and creepy
I do
if
think
you
it's weird
date
and
somebody
creepy.
who possesses
Yeah.
the same trait. So, for example,
No.
if your child has blue eyes, you are then a predator for
Nope,
dating
I didn't
somebody
say that.
who has blue. That's your argument,
No, it's
though.
not. No, it's not.
Dude, do you really think that's what I'm saying? Do you genuinely think that I'm saying that that's what you said?
You literally just said that in your logic, any type of characteristic that person possesses
Okay,
would
but
then be off
are you
the
saying
list.
that I said? Are you saying that I said that you said it verbatim?
I'm because you're
Of
saying.
course, I know you didn't say what I just said.
But you're basically elaborating on something and taking it down a road that wasn't
Okay,
even a
so
thought
then,
in my
but
mind.
I don't understand this comparison.
He's drawing a parallel comparison. Like they're comparable.
Or we could just stay on what I actually said. So, like, I look at you being 21 years old as, oh my God, let me take you under my wing. Let me help you out. Let me
So
let me take care of you.
infantilizing.
But why does she need that?
No, it's. I think I do
Creepy.
agree. Okay, I
That's
will
what you
say,
do to the generation below
okay,
you.
okay.
I will
I have a
say
question. I have a
speaking
question.
as a-
Do you think a 30-year-old man is mentally ill if they found her physically attractive?
There's a less than 10 year age
That's a
difference.
weird question.
Less than 10
Do you
years.
think they're mentally ill if they found her physically attractive?
There's a less than 10 years age
Okay,
difference.
35.
I would be concerned. Like, dude, what are you doing with a 21-year-old? Yeah.
I want to go back to your comment about young people
So-
being sponges. I do
Okay.
agree with that. Your prefrontal cortex doesn't start
Fake news.
developing until you're 25.
Okay, so should
No, it's peer
so
reviewed.
then
There's
people
multiple studies.
Yeah, it's been debunked. So should people be voting then?
Nope.
Should you be able to vote at
Should we
that
have a
age?
vote?
No.
Hold on.